Hey dreamers, this is Anisha Jennings, a fellow immigrant and an entrepreneur. From being an engineer in India to building my tech business in the US, I've lived the journey you're on. Welcome to Your American Dream podcast, where we turn immigrant challenges into superpowers. Are you feeling out of place, struggling with a job hunt, or simply missing home? I've been there, and I'm here to guide you through it. In each episode, we'll dive into real stories, practical advice, and mindset that will help you write your unique success story. From navigating cultural differences to building a purposeful life, I've got you covered. So if you're ready to turn your immigrant experience into your greatest strength, let's dive in. Your American dream starts now. Welcome to Your American Dream. I'm Anisha Jennings, and today I'm excited to welcome Swatilina Barik, global talent strategist, founder of Visa Architect, and creator of TerraBridge AI. With nearly a decade of experience in U.S. immigration law and global mobility, Swati has helped over 1,000 professionals, founders, and families navigate complex visa pathways, including EB1A, O1, EB2, NIW, and EB5 petitions. She is a licensed attorney in India who practices before the Supreme Court and High Court of India and is passionate about simplifying immigration strategy for ambitious global talent. Her work combines legal precision, storytelling, and business strategy to help clients build long term success in the United States. Welcome, Swati. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you, Anisha. I'm so glad to be here and excited with the session.
Likewise. So tell us a little bit about your journey on how you became this global talent strategist.
Okay, so I have a practice of nearly 3 years in litigation in India. And I was going court to court, tribunal to tribunal, forum to forum back when I just passed out my law degree. And after that, we all know COVID happened. And that time I was just reading something about on immigration and got an opportunity to work with the immigration attorney closely. For over 3 years, I worked and practiced with the immigration attorney and understanding more about the asylum cases, about the family based petitions and etc. And then slowly, gradually, I started developing my interest area in talent visas. And it's more not about talent visas, it's more about the talent, global talent that I have seen. And it's been over you can say a decade that I've been practicing and helping the extraordinary talent, helping the extraordinary professionals, changing their expertise into, you can say, globally or internationally recognized authority. So my journey started back in 2018 to now, and it's been like wonderful that I get an opportunity to see a lot of extraordinary professionals, how they are like coming up with their career, with their journey, and how they are like navigating their entire career into a very beautiful journey from beginning till the end, what their goals and achievements they are having for themselves. So this journey is like full of ups and downs. It's not easy, and it needs a lot of patience, it needs a lot of stability, and we see a lot of global policies keeps changing, so we have to navigate all around throughout that system itself.
Yes, for sure. So tell us a little bit about your journey on how you started and how you entered law. Did you always want to become a lawyer? How did that journey start?
Always, I'm not a good student with mathematics at all. I'm like, when I was in school, I was like not at all very good with mathematics. I get away from maths, and I was very good with my English, science, la la la. But in terms when it comes to mathematics, I'm like always a student which like going to my father and showing the scorecard sheet is like very difficult for me because I'm like always thinking what's gonna happen. So keeping that apart, my interest area was always choosing law because I was every time fascinated by judges, basically justice, why it has happened, why it has become like this way. So whenever I see a kind of a judgment or any kind of law coming up, my curiosity is not over that. My curiosity is always over why this has happened. The question of why has always been into my mind. And I'm somebody a very good researcher. So I love reading things to understand the core crux of why it has happened. Does it has a logical reasoning, philosophical reasoning, or anything else? So that thing built up in me, and I chose law because I feel like I'm meant for law always. So in when I was practicing before the high court and other tribunals in India, I was always helping out the women and child. That's my core, part of why I did law. And I have navigated a lot of cases in terms of like divorce cases in India, and then safety of women and child. So these are the things that I was always fascinated. And I'm somebody who is so like there has to be a purpose in life. And my purpose of life is very simple, and that is like to help the immigrants, to help women and child. That's the goal. So this has developed my curiosity in learning law and participating in moot courts, doing a lot of things when we are in college. And then the baseline is litigation. And litigation is a very tough line, but it's the most exciting part in law. I have always understood this. It will build you to a different level as a person. So I remember, Nisha, when I was going back and practicing litigation, I was literally leaving 9 a.m. in the morning and coming back at 1 a.m. in the morning.
Wow.
So, and another day, the same routine, and it keeps going till Sunday. We don't get breaks. So that robust practice has made me built like in certain manner. I understand the practice sessions or the immigration part in a very different manner. It's not even about just about immigration. When we even turn about any kind of like, you know, extraordinary talent when we talk, they are like it takes a lot of time to build yourself into that particular forum, into that particular field of endeavor where you are too much, you can say you are too much into that particular field of endeavor that you feel obsessed with. So,
Yeah.
likewise, the same system goes to me. So, I was always obsessed with law. I love understanding the concept and philosophical part of how it happened, why it happened. That's it.
Beautiful. So tell us a little more about, how you work in the US and how did you come across that opportunity and what it is like to work both in the US and in India, juggling your.
Okay. It's an interesting part because all my clients, like when I'm in like in India, like I stay with my parents. So, and my clients are like always in the Eastern time or a Pacific time. And it's a struggle between, because in India, it's like night and you have to be very present because your clients are in the EST or PST. So my late night shifts and till the early morning shifts keeps going on. In terms of the part of how I just recognize that this is something which would be the gap, I would say. There are many professionals I have seen, and they're beautiful professionals. They are doing great work. But the most important part is you are striving in achievement, and you are, moving into that direction, and you need someone to understand that thing. So that someone I wanted to be that someone who can understand their way, that okay, I am a professional, I've been building my life and my career in the past 15 years, and now I wanted to make sure that I'm perceiving that pathway into it or channelizing it into a manner that I can like build my life onto that. So that gap has always remained stagnant. So I figured it out that there has to be somebody who can like guide them, can guide their strategize or guide their career. So every person is different. So an artist would be very different, or a tech person would be very different, or a singer would be very different, or anybody who is like doing extraordinary work in their own field of endeavor. They need to understand what is actually needed to make sure that my career is strategizing in a particular manner, so that if I see from now to the next 10 years or to the next 5 years how it should look like. So that understanding has come from a gap, that what is needed and what needs to be, what needs to be perceived.
Yes.
So that guidance is something that I felt like the market doesn't have. And that's the point where where I thought that okay, this is something that I can help people around it.
Awesome. So with the latest immigration policies and, different things going on, do you have any thoughts to share on that with regard to like, the panic and how can people prepare for, prepare for their future, basically, with all, with the immigration, with the new policies.
Definitely. This is the most exciting part of, the talent visas, or you can say immigration part, or etc. Because policies will never stop coming. It
Right.
is it is by the authorities. They are navigating things in a way that it has to be. I respect that completely. And in immigration, we have to strategize it, because I do understand that I have lots of clients who panic. Oh, Swati, this has come to the picture. Now what? Are we going to be in that? They go to the attorneys as well. I closely work with the attorneys, and we sync up very well in terms of understanding how the situation can be cured, or can be like particularly taken care of. But
Right.
the point over here is panicness is not going to help anyway, because whatever the policy has came, you have to accept it.
Right.
What we can do is we can understand it, what is the right way to move from that particular position where you are to the next particular path that you are seeking for. Okay,
Right.
I give you an example. Like, for example, I am going to a straight road, and then after that there is a house there I stay. Okay, now in between of that house and the road, I got a big stone. I have to make sure that I just overpass it, or make sure that I just go beyond it and reach out to my destiny. That's the same exactly thing. It's everything will come across you, but you have to make sure that how you are strategizing. So a lot of my understanding says that a lot of time, like, the flexibility is very important and adaptability is very important. So fine, if I'm going for if I'm like doing something called, okay, let's take an example like this way. I'm making my profile, or I'm strategizing my profile, and I want to make this profile in a year. But unfortunately, because of XYZ reasons, I couldn't develop this. But I can do it in the next 1.5 year. So that adaptability and flexibility should always be there in terms of everything that you do. It cannot be like, I wanted to do it this in a certain manner. You never know what kind of uncertainties would come. So likewise, recently we see that there is a adjustment of status policy that has came into the picture. It changes. A lot of clients who are like coming in saying that, hey, we did filed our adjustment of status. Now it is going to impact on us.
Right.
Yeah, it's going to impact on you, but in whatsoever manner, you have to understand it. So full
Right.
understanding of any kind of news is also important, because we
Right.
read the halfway done and then we feel like, oh my god, okay, it's going to impact me. No, understand it, whether and up to what mark it's going to impact you. And it's fine, because authorities are doing their work. They are doing the work that they have to do, or they are bringing the changes whatsoever. You also have to understand that whether I fall under the criteria that they are seeking or not. If I'm falling, then okay, what are the next steps that I can navigate? If I'm not
Right.
falling, then I don't have to like even think about it. I'm good at my
Right.
place. So there are many things that, practically, philosophically, on the life segments, we need to think, navigate, and accordingly we can process it. So policy change is something very common in the US immigration, or you can say in the whole immigration juncture. So I suggest people not to panic, calm down. And panic is something that automatically comes into the picture when things doesn't move around. But I still say that do not panic. Things will move around. Everything is solvable. You just have to like poise and then come up with the segments. So that's the whole goal is that. And definitely I have seen that, if we remain pause, or we remain calm, we navigate the solution very fast than becoming, situation in this situation being panic.
Yes, for sure. So, what are some of the options that people can, in this situation, if they are like, have applied for adjustment of status, or any of the new, not new, but whatever policies have been enforced recently? What are some of the options for people who still want to, legally come to the US and explore opportunities? What is the pathways?
Totally depends at what juncture you are. Like, if you want to travel just for a travel legally, want to have a tour and tourism, it's a B1, B2 visa. It's a very common visa that we know at this point of time. And if you are like thinking about studying in the United States, then you need to go for a F1 visa, as we all know. But there are different process for each visa that you have to navigate. It's not easy for it's not about being easy, it's about being more, you can say, stable or prudent with your documentation part. The more
Right.
robust with your documentation part, the more clarity you have in each visa, it helps you to come over with all kinds of hurdles or obstacles. So as I say,
Right.
if somebody like wants to people get married, in the United States, they move for travel and then they fell in love. So there is another way of how you can adjust your status through that itself.
Okay.
And then there are other visas like EB1A, that's an extraordinary talent visa, O1A visa, talent visa, NIW, national interest waiver visa. So these are some of the visas. L1 visa is for like executive and managerial role. TN visas. There are different, these are like some kind of professional visas that I've told you just now. And there are other visas, like you can say asylum visas. So there are
Mm-hmm.
different ways why people want to leave their country and then they
Right.
wanted to come to the United States. And then there are inadmissibility visas also, which waive you of 601, 601A. So these are the visas as well. So it totally depends upon a person, how in what is your like current situation, how you would like to enter into the United States. It's not about only the United States, but also about anything that is like coming into the different countries visa. They all have their different kind of, rules, regulations.
Mm-hmm.
So I always say read things very clearly with a clarity. It helps a lot. So these are some of the fine examples of the visas that a person can enter with legally, with all the documentation, proper documentation and things. And it would be easy way to enter.
For sure. Thank you for explaining that. So, can you tell us some of the biggest misconceptions about the US immigration process that people may have?
Oh yeah, there are many. So I will just give you some of them. So it's like for example, a group of people, like 4 people, 5 people. Okay. So they have this myth that he has done that visa, let's do this visa. No, it doesn't works like that. So okay, my friend has done, B1, B2 or any visa, you just put it out like any visa. I'm also going to reach out that visa. No, it's not going to be like that way. I am doing H1B, he should also do H1B. No,
Mhm.
you have to understand where your status fall. Like in EB1A, I have seen like, okay, everybody's doing like, for example, there is a somebody called data scientist working in a very big company. Okay, I am going to strategize my case like this. So the other person is their friend, I'm also gonna do like this. No, it doesn't works like that. You have to understand where that person stands, what are the you can say what are the big strength on of that case and what are the big strengths of your case, what's
Mhm.
your weakness, what's his weakness. Everything differs case to case, case to case, case to case. So it's very important to be very precise when we talk about visas, when we talk about the nature of the visas, when we talk about the process of the visas, and when we talk about the authorities of the visas. Everything works very differently, visa to visa, case to case. Some of them are inside the United States being processed, some of them are consular process. So it needs
Mhm.
to be navigated in a very precise manner. Having a misconception that okay, my friend did this, I should also did this, is the most common myth I have seen. So people come in like, okay, he has done this, my thing should also get into it. So I'm like, no, it's not like that. You cannot do it. We have to understand what are your strength areas, what are the other person's strength areas. They might differ. You
Right.
might have something else, that person might have something else. This is one of the myths that I have always heard, and it's very difficult to even channelize it once it is hence proven that it has been done like that and he got the visa. So it will
Right.
happen with me also. So this is one
Right.
of the thing. And some other myths are like keeping documentation on a secondary basis. I have seen
Mm.
many times documentations are secondary. Okay, fine. I will just do the, primary things very fast and keeping the documentation, major crux part of the documentation as a secondary. No, in whichever visa you go for, your documentation is your strength. Be
Mhm.
very
Yes.
precise with what you are producing. Be very precise with what you are saying. Be very
Yeah.
precise with what you are trying to convince or convey. So
Right.
these things matters a lot. You cannot like just okay, I'm going for B1, B2 and just wrap it up. No, it's also a particular day, particular time. You're perceiving that officer. Make sure things are coming up in a right manner. So
Right.
I always say that documentation is something that you have to be very precise. Keep
Yes.
making sure your documentation is so strong that it's not questionable at all. So
Absolutely.
I think these two are something that I every day juggle up with, and I explain
Yes.
and try to explain everybody.
Yes, and which is a good point you made, that you provide strong documentation where they know that you're doing this, you're making their work easier. Because when I did my green card, I provided so much, like, information. I had saved greeting cards that my husband and I had received from the church. We had received like checks or presents, whatever. I had saved all the greeting cards, and I like scanned all
Yes.
of them, and I, like, provided pictures, and it was like this big, my
Yes.
paperwork. And my lawyer was like, "You're like an A student if I had if I had to rate you." Because my interview was just like 5 minutes and we were done for my green card. So they literally had all the information why I was applying for a green card through marriage, right? So
Yes.
that is definitely true. The stronger your documentation, it makes it easy for them
Them.
and for you. So,
Yeah.
yeah, thank you for
Le-
sharing that.
yeah. Less questions if your documentation are very strong. As you said, you have like all the documentation which says that, the relationship between the spouse are like genuine and with full of love.
Mhm.
So that made officer
Absolutely.
understand that, okay, this is something that I don't have to keep investigating or questioning,
Right.
because the documentation part is very clear and transparent, and it makes the readable things should be so transparent that they are not coming back and questioning, oh, how it is, why it is.
Exactly.
So you
Exactly.
just clear that point then and there. So that's why I always say visa parts are documentation heavy. So
For
try
sure.
to keep them as a primary rather than keeping anything else as a primary, because choosing the right visa is also a primary thing. But after that, you
Absolutely.
have to understand that documentation is something that cannot be ignored just for a sake. Okay, it will happen in the process itself. There is a
Exactly.
way. People think like, okay, it's gonna happen. It's a process. No, it's a process, but make sure that you are also a part of it, actively participating it, because at the end you are standing at their visa interview and you are gonna
Exactly.
reply. So that's how.
Yes, for sure. So you founded Visa Architect. Tell us a little more about it and what are the services you provide.
So yes, I'm the founder and CEO at Visa Architect, and I lead a big team. And the services that we provide is majorly I help navigating extraordinary professionals, changing into their expertise into the internationally recognized authority. So I strategize their case if they wanted to, if they have like, and they have to navigate their, you can say, field of expertise or career, wanted to achieve or getting some visibility, basically the
Mhm.
visibility or professional authority. So I help them to understand and strategize that how you can do this. It can be a pathway to the immigration as well, or it can
Right.
be the pathway to the different junctures of your life as well. It totally
Hmm.
depends what their end goal is,
Right.
basically. So it totally depends upon the end goal of a client that, okay, I want to do like this. So it's very important that are you able to understand whether that particular field is extraordinary or not? That's the main
Right.
thing part. So, okay, you're doing hundred of things and hundred of, initiatives or a lot of things, but whether it's coming and falling under the extraordinary part or not, whether it's extraordinary talent or not. Yeah, we do have a juncture where we have like EB1 or talent visas, which has like 10 criterias. Out of that, 3 you have to navigate. But there is a way to look around it, whether that particular case which is coming onto my table, does that contain an extraordinary talent inside it? That's the main part of it. Whether that case can go and roll out to the extraordinary ability or not. Whether if
Hmm.
we strategize the case, it can go towards an extent and hold that particular, segment that is expected by the client or not. So
Right.
these things are more important and strategical in terms of rather than just making around any kind of, you can say, subjective or objective experts around it. So
Hmm.
I just basically I help a lot of, you can say, people across the board, across the, you can say, globally, who wanted to reach out for how they can navigate their career into different directions in terms of how we can like build our authority in our career. So there are many ways that you can build your authority in your career through judging or through the conference speaking, what kind of things you can navigate it. So those strategical decisions is like something that I do believe that I'm good at, and I keep giving it.
Amazing. Amazing. So you're also building TerraBridge AI. Tell us a little more about what that is and how is that making a difference?
TerraBridge AI is basically like you can say it's a AI tool which helps people to understand any kind of publication work that you are like doing at this point of time. Anybody, it's not like related with only small juncture, like anybody who wanted to go for a publication work or any kind of work that they are doing. It helps to navigate the work or enhance the work through the AI tool that we have. So it proofread, it gives you a lot of, corrections into it. Like this is correct, or you can navigate things into a different manner. So it's basically for, people who wanted to perceive, you can say, who wanted to like perceive any kind of publication work if they wanted to perceive, or any kind of research based work. I must say the right word is the research word, research. And TerraBridge is like budding at this point of time. So there are
Mm-hmm.
lots of ideas which is going around, and I'm planning also, but this is the major part that I have come up with. It reduces your timelines. The manual work that you keep doing for like days and days, it reduces your timeline. It gives you more perfectionist, you can say perfect results through that
Okay.
AI, and it helps you to work faster. So this is
Perfect.
like the juncture, and there are some ideas which is coming more. So I'll definitely going to like share those ideas in future.
Amazing. Yes. So if somebody wants to work with you or reach out to you, what is the best way?
Shoot me an email at Swati at visaarchitect.com. I am the most reachable person. You just directly shoot me an email and I will be responding back.
Amazing. Amazing. So what do you think, what would be your advice to someone who is pursuing their dream? What advice would you give someone who is pursuing their dream while navigating immigration obstacles?
Okay, interesting question. It's a question for everybody. Like everybody has this, okay, I want to achieve this, but there are also this. Some things that I would always tell everyone is this: you dream something, you believe in it, number one.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, you know that you want to go cross border. So keep the immigration segments in a very, in a very early stage itself. So
Right.
a lot of time they start thinking that I want to do this, but immigration challenges or immigration decisions are coming at a very later stage. Once they have decided that what they have to do, or they are already halfway path about their dream, and they put the immigration things after the halfway path are done. To me, if you keep the immigration pathway before, it helps you to navigate in a better position and be adaptable and flexible. This is my request because I've always seen that, oh, I don't want to file that visa. That visa doesn't suits me. So these kind of things keeps coming up that I have seen. So it's not like about you don't like it. It's about like this that situation demands that.
Right.
Let's do it for a while until you get into the another situation or status. It's not going to remain forever, but
Right.
for a while you can just be adaptable and flexible, and then you can push yourself, move forward again, and then achieve what you are expecting or what your goal is. It's easy to do this rather than not to be flexible and rigid. It makes things more like you can say more worst at times, or there are repercussions about it.
Right.
So this is the one thing that I always say, that keep the immigration understanding before you even like to think about, okay, I'm going to do like this. So the early stage of immigration decisions are more important than postponing it. This I have seen in many cases, because they come and then they say, oh, now I don't have time. The problem is
Hmm.
the time itself. Time
Right.
is passing. So time is something that is passing, and you don't have time, but you know what you want. If you
Right.
could have just, assessed it a little bit earlier, we could have more time to make sure that these things are going aligned. So
Absolutely.
this thing I have seen that it's missing on lot of ways. in a lot of cases. So if we
Okay.
can be more proactive, or we can be more, you can say, more strategic, so it would be more easy for us.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for being here, and I appreciate all your experience and all the wisdom you shared.
Thank you, Anisha. It was very nice speaking with you, and thank you for inviting me.
My pleasure. Thank you. Thank you again. As we close this insightful conversation with Swati, one thing becomes clear: immigration is not just paperwork, it's people, purpose, and possibility. Swati reminds us that strategy, clarity, and storytelling can completely transform someone's future. If you're building a business, personal brand, or, or professional platform as you grow your vision, I'm here to support you behind the scenes, from creating strategic, high converting websites that position your authority, to managing and producing podcasts that amplify your voice, to providing team and operational support as your business scale. I help entrepreneurs and leaders grow with confidence and clarity, because building your dream should not feel overwhelming when you have the right support system. This is Anisha Jennings reminding you that your American dream is built one courageous decision at a time. Until next time. Thank you for tuning into Your American Dream. I hope this episode left you feeling inspired and ready to take on the world. Remember when I first landed in the US, lost and overwhelmed? Well, look at us now. We're building our dreams together. Your story matters, and I'm so honored to be a part of it. If you enjoyed our chat today, please spread the love. Rate, review, and share. Let's grow this amazing community of dreamers together. Want more? Catch my daily doses of inspiration on my Instagram at Jennings Tech Corner. Also, check out the show notes for more ways to connect. Remember, your accent is the voice of your ambition. Your background is your superpower. Let's dream big and achieve bigger. Until then, this is Anisha cheering you every step of the way.